Hello, everybody. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. Joined once again by my favorite intuitives. We're all authors now and best-selling authors, so congratulations, everybody. So, honey, I almost completely read your book. It's very fast read, very, very nice. And Lisa, your book is still, outstanding. So lots, once you hit that author level, very few people are ever going to get rich, doing the author thing. But it is a good thing that people is like, oh, you're an author. You're like, you've arrived. It's like, yeah.
Well, I'm finishing up finally the We Are Quantum that you're both in, and it's really come together beautifully. I'm just waiting on one more chapter. It's actually more work to do a collaborative book because it's like herding cats than it is to do one on your own. This has been over a year, whereas my other book took me 6 months.
Yeah, very good. So, honey, you're we were talking before the show. Your YouTube, Honey C. Golden, is really doing some good. You're doing some great stuff over there. I'll share it. I'll share the screen real quick so everybody can see. It's Honey C. Golden, and she's got some great videos and live. They're getting some really good views. So we'll talk about some of the subjects that you're really getting some good views on. I think all of us are pretty like, is telepathy real? End of the world, old 3D to new world 5D. That kind of comes into your book, which is great. And then some other ones. I really like this gentleman you do lives with,
Richard.
He's a crack up, and
so
you guys.
Fun.
He is fun? The best. Yeah. He lives 2 hours north of me in Montreal, and he's hysterical.
I thought it was German or something. So he's in Montreal, huh?
Yeah, he's French Canadian.
French Canadian. Okay, that's where that accent is. Yeah. So great job on your channel. You're getting like tons of views because your information is great. Of course, the three of us get great views on this channel as well. And of course you guys do the quantum healing meditation, which is fantastic. So we'll talk about that towards the end of the show so people can get more up to speed on that. Which one would you like to jump into first? The 3D to 5D Earth?
I feel like we should get into the flat Earth versus round Earth versus. I mean, that one is so fun, and we can talk about Artemis.
Yeah, we can roll that in too. Yeah. So Artemis, you're thinking it's like a complete hoax, huh?
Total hoax, totally hilarious. And what it's done is it's exposed the last, hoax, the moon landing, and so many people are aware now, but they had that one guy come out and basically say, oh, this is the first time we're going to go to the moon and it's in lower Earth orbit or whatever. I'm like, okay. So funny.
They found that the woman who's the astronaut is actually an actress and had been in another movie. And then they were showing something where they had the food packets spinning around, and one had a red dot on it. And they said that's what they use to keep track of everything when they're doing it. What's the word? CGI, when they do CGI. And so this packet had a red dot on it, and it was spinning around, and it was like kind of going through his head, and it was pretty funny. And then one of the astronauts dropped Earth, like it was a little ball that looked like an Earth, and it fell. Yeah. And the other astronauts are standing there, and they're like, it didn't move. It didn't go float.
So funny.
So where are we at with the reality part? I mean, we got ETs coming in, got ET air, spacecraft and all that kind of stuff. Where's that coming from, and how does that relate to our solar system? And is there a solar system? What are your thoughts? Yeah.
There's a solar system.
Yeah.
Is it empty? No. I always get it's plasma. So if you think of the firmament, it's basically made out of the same stuff that the firmament is made out of. So the universe is thick, but it also has fascia, just like we have fascia. And they're like little tubes. So most of the travel happens through the fascia. And I started talking about that years ago. And I was like, oh my God, I have to bring this up. And people really, they seemed like they accepted it. They understood it. It made sense. So that was good. The flat earth versus round earth versus toroidal field was the biggest drama, I think. And then I had someone on who believed that the earth was flat. And I sent him a message that I didn't believe that. And so I started to show my stuff because we're halfway through. And I was like, oh no, he didn't read anything that I sent him. So that was really interesting and a little stressful.
Yeah. So I agree with you, honey. The one that you did on the flat around, you show the earth as, or not the earth, but what we know of as earth, I guess, is just a very small microcosm of the greater, because we got the ice walls and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But the earth is not round. It's not flat. It's something else. I've always felt that. And at some point, all the science that they're, dumbing us down with is going to be thrown out, and we're going to realize, oh my God, this is so simple, of course, but at this point it's tough to get through all of that.
So where do the portals then take place and the gateways? Because is that really the way we're supposed to travel versus getting in a rocket ship and going through?
Oh yeah, it is. We have stargates.
The stargates.
We have portals that are like more natural portals from the Matrix, the natural Matrix. We have portals that have been created because of, some sort of accident too. Like think about all those wars that we were having with each other in the past, as ETs, like the Orion Wars and stuff. So I always get Moldavite came from a ship and they went through the wrong portal because they were trying to get away, and then they came into 3D and exploded. So, it was a natural ship, like organic, because a lot of the ships that are in higher densities, they're organic ships. They have their own DNA. So it's just wild. But if you think about it, almost everything makes sense if you think about your own common sense.
Yeah. And I just noticed both of you are color coordinated with pink, and I got blue, so that's good.
Last time I had that happen, I was in Mexico going to visit the flamingos, and we both wore pink shirts instead.
Beautiful, flamingos, did they come and greet you or what?
We went in a boat, went right into the middle of them. There were thousands of them. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Whew.
But they also talk about, there's one guy who was questioning the whole thing about the earth, and he said, why? I want to see that these the astronauts pull out and show like all the people, all the buildings that are upside down, because and all the planes flying upside down and all the water that's still staying in the same place. It's not falling. It was really funny the way he said it, but I never really thought about it. If the earth is round and everyone's like hanging upside down with the planes flying and everything above us, it's just like, why would they bother to even have us believe that? Like, what advantage did they have telling us it's round versus anything else? Why is that important?
I feel like it's so that they could pull the ultimate like joke on us.
Yeah.
Kind
of like the Tartaria stuff we talked about, it's like, let's cover all the stuff up and dumb us down. Their history is all changed around. unless you become an intuitive, all of this stuff is lost to you. You're not going to have a clue. So you really need to tap into these higher dimensional realms, which you talk about, honey, and which you talk about, Lisa, and I talk about as well. So 5-dimensional consciousness, the movement from 3D, which is very thick and very controlled and very dark, and then moving through the 4th dimension into the 5th dimension. 4th dimension, in my opinion, is more of the consciousness realm. We see a lot of disinformation that's going on right now. The airwaves, thought patterns, and so forth, more 4-dimensional. What are you guys' thoughts?
The chaos realm.
Yeah.
That's what I call it.
Yeah.
As we move to 5D, yeah.
And then there's the 5th density, and then there's the 5th dimension. So we're in the 5th density, correct?
Right.
And we're moving into the 5th dimension. Can you clarify what the difference is? Because I always get confused on those two.
Density is physical. So it's how you feel physically. So I don't know about you guys, but I feel better. Yeah. So I just feel like I can move around better. Everything feels lighter. Time moves fast now. So it's the physical experience.
Yeah. But I unfortunately still get some negative stuff happen to me in 3D where I get attacked. Like yesterday, I got attacked pretty bad, where I was doing a show that was going to do some big exposure, and crawling across the floor again, trying to get out of the energy that was like hit me. So, when do we get to a point where because I feel like I'm just like 5D everything, at this point, but I'm still getting hammered by 3D stuff. When do we break free from it?
Well, some of it is shadows. So you want to think about that. Some of it's our own shadows. So like parallels that are not doing well, that need to be dissolved. So whenever I feel like I'm getting attacked, the first thing I do is clear shadows.
Nice.
And I send them home, to the astral plane to be judged, cleared, healed, all of that. So, and they're pretty intense, the shadows. And I've seen some people that have had like 30 or 40 shadows that are just hanging out around them and pulling them into like this yucky energetic. And once they're cleared, they're like, oh, I feel better. Yeah.
But you and I talked about that earlier also, because the density is shifting and getting lighter, these shadows that are left are getting crazier.
Yeah.
Like I just got news about someone I knew did something horrible. Like there's some people who are really getting crazy right now, and all of our stuff is coming up. So yeah, it's about clearing those old timelines and clearing the parallels so that they can get healed and we can ascend. That's all part of it, is letting go of all that.
Yeah, the shadow stuff is very interesting. I work in the demonic realms and clear a lot of that. But I feel like I'm cursed. There's some kind of curses that are like, hanging on me and stuff.
I would break those then.
Yeah. Okay.
So like if you come to the healing on Thursday, then break the curses while you're in there.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely something that's still sticky. Even Tracy's like, sometimes I got to get out of the room at night because they're like really coming after you. So I was like, oh yeah, thanks for leaving me. But it gets pretty intense.
It feels like a wizard.
Yeah.
To me.
Okay.
So it feels like a wizard from a parallel.
Yes.
And you were associated with that wizard, and he basically is attacking all of your parallels.
Interesting.
Yeah, I just got a confirmation. Yeah.
So he needs to
and
be.
I was like, where, what? And now you confirmed it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tracy and I were talking about this morning. So yeah, this great confirmation, and that's the beauty of the quantum healing that you guys do. You open the floor up for questions like this. So I'm getting a freebie here. I love it. So great. So here we are. We're moving into this Earth split. So this is phenomenal. Many people have talked about this. I've been talking about this for, I think, almost 6 years with people. This Earth split that's coming. So tell us about your views of the Earth split.
If you can think about like several layers, because everybody has their own point of view. So I don't have anything with a bunch of layers in it right now, but if you just could imagine that there's lots of layers of a more negative timeline. And so say it's a fiber optic cable. So one cable, let's say that it's black and it's dirty. And then there's another one that's still orange and everything inside of it is bright and nothing is broken. Like none of the fiber optics are broken. So those timelines that are bright and unbroken are going forward into the fifth dimension. The ones that are broken and dirty, they're not. And you can tell if someone is wallowing in negativity, if they're feeling tremendously like a victim, if they don't take any self-responsibility, and they just think everything is happening to them, then they're kind of in the lower, the dirty timelines, just call them. But they're still ascending. They're just not going to ascend in their body. So we're right now experiencing all the timelines at once because you can feel the negative stuff. So just like what Lisa just experienced or saw, we're seeing a lot of the negativity, but it's not necessarily in our realm anymore. We're not really experiencing it, and we're also not interacting with it. So the split is started. And I think 2026 is the split year, but also I think 2026 starts in April and ends in April.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So here's something that I talk about, and it's so cool we're having this conversation because Honey and I were just talking about this. Just because you see negative things that are going on doesn't mean it's happening in your timeline. You're observing it, right? You're still seeing things going on. One of the most important things that you need to do is get neutral. Don't take on the emotion of it, because you can process a feeling in 90 seconds. You can just feel it and then let it go. It's when you hold it and then it becomes part of your body. Then you refuse to forgive. You're angry and you hate someone, and now it's impacting you and not the people you hate, right? And as you talk about this all with the love bubble and everything, I love that because it's critical that we are in a place of neutrality and observe. It doesn't mean that you don't take action. You can. It's just not taking it on. There's a big difference. Because the more negativity you take on, the lower the timeline that you will be on. You'll end up in the dirty timeline. So you want to keep your frequency high, observe. It's not about me, and let things play out that are out of your control.
Excellent. And Honey, Dolores Cannon, she talked about basically those clear. And she had like she would see a mosaic of all.
Yeah, and like a split like this.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I thought of right away when you were talking about that. And
it's what it is, basically.
Yeah. And how you concentrate on different things, like Lisa's talking about. I would be with groups of people in combat zones in the early stages. Eventually, I leveled up to really high level people that had, we understood that what you focused on was what you're going to attract, especially in a combat zone. because everything's very, very fast in a combat zone. You focus on negative, it's like, boom, you're gone. I saw it over and over again. It's crazy.
Really?
But if you focus on positive, you're like you're talking about, Lisa, you're still moving in this environment. We're like happy-go-lucky, having a good time. Stuff is blowing up all around us, literally sometimes. And we kept our focus. We're all very positive guys, you know, and the people that we're protecting, you know, we had to educate them a little bit. They got wise over time too. And we just accomplished incredible things. So yeah, that's the level that we're moving into. So all the negativity that's out there, that's why I say stay in the love bubble, because staying in that love consciousness, brings you access, of course, to higher dimensional realms of consciousness and so forth that are out there, and protects you for the most part. But even with me, as we were talking about, you can be subject to attacks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's usually from something you're attached to somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah. Whether it's like in this lifetime or a different one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I love, because there's so few people that talk about past lives and understand it, which is a tragedy to me. There's a lot of confusion on that. I've been trying to awaken people on it at least for 10 years, when my first book or second book came out, The Awakening of a Warrior. So it's a tough road. Why do you think people are so, is it religious? Is it, what kind of indoctrination is going on with keeping people from tapping into their past life? Because when I did that took me to so many different higher levels over and over again. I don't dwell on those past lives, but they inform me at the time that I was led to, discovery. What are your thoughts?
But that's exactly why you said, because they inform you. They didn't want us to know. It's indoctrinated in religion. In the form of Judaism that I was raised in, when you die, that's it. You get in a box and that's it. They bury you in dirt. And it always bothered me because I knew there was something more, but I didn't have anyone in my family that I could talk to about that. Mm-hmm. And I would always look at my friends who, talked about heaven, and I was like, I don't do hell because I wasn't raised in it. I don't believe in that either. So it was really about, what's next. And it wasn't until I really did a deep dive into the principles of Buddhism and, the whole past life regression and studying that and realizing they have documented proof of children who have gone back to the home where they were in a past life and saw family members.
Yep. That
they recognized, went into the house and said, like, that was my bedroom, knew everyone's names. Mm-hmm. It's all documented. And one of the things that I did was this program where they actually had 2 psychic intuitives that would meditate and call in a past life of yours. And they would write it out, and I wasn't allowed to see it. And then they would give us 1 or 2 lines at a time, and we had to recall it at a cellular level. And we spent the weekend in that persona. And so we had to dress like them. We had to draw what we look like and live in that for an entire weekend. And it was, in the beginning, it was hard because you had to connect to it. The first one I did was my first past life regression. So I knew the entire story matched up exactly with what these other oracles had gotten.
Incredible. Wow.
It's really fun.
I think a lot of people are actually afraid to know too.
Yeah.
But once you start finding out, it's way more fun. Some of them are horrible though too. So you do have some past lives that are really, really hard to look at.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the movie Troy. Do you remember that with Brad Pitt?
Brad Pitt, yeah.
Yeah. And I had a past life come in, drop into my head as I was watching that movie. And then I just hated that movie because that was such a tumultuous, past life.
Yes, yeah. I remember that. Yeah, but the thing is that if you tap into them, you're calling in actual skill sets.
Mhm.
So you can call in abilities, but you also have to be able to look at, if you have one come in, I was not a nice person. We weren't all good in every single lifetime.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's where the karma gets created. So you have to be able to forgive yourself and let go of. And one of the things that always helped me was I believe that we contract before we come in. We have a contract. So it was an agreement. Like, I came in saying that I was going to do these things to you, to hurt you, so that your soul would have this experience, so that I could deal with that in a better way if I saw that I had actually intentionally hurt people.
Yeah. And that forgiveness, I think, is huge. And that's part of what I think going into the past lives helps you do as well. Forgive things you've done, forgive things that other people have done to you, and on and on and on. And once I got into that, more and more stuff started to come through. On the Trojan thing, I was King Idomeneus in that lifetime. I remember being on the Jason, the Arg, where they went. They sailed, and they had the Golden Fleece, Jason and the Argonauts. That's what it is. And so I was a little boy then, and Hercules was on it, and so I've traced Hercules to actually Donald Trump at this point. But
Wow.
and I've had many lives with him. We've worked together in a tight soul group. But I remember so I'm asking, where did the Golden Fleece come from? So there is, you go up the Bosphorus Strait and up into one of the rivers that comes from Russia. I can't remember which one it is now. There was gold in hills. And so they took a fleece from a sheep, and they would put it in the water, and it would collect the gold. So monatomic gold at that time was it was unbelievably, all the elite, wanted the monatomic gold. So that's how they got it. So by going into that past lifetime, that's how I started to find all that stuff out. So when you go into these past lifetimes, you cut through all of the lies and the bullshit that, they put into our consciousness about history, and you cut through it and you find all this stuff out. It's pretty cool.
It is. Yeah. It was kind of amazing because the tech was all very advanced, back then. And I remember the house that we were in, and it looked kind of shaped like a pyramid. It was very interesting and had these huge terraces. And then out in front was like a beautiful garden, almost like an English garden would look, with the maze and all that kind of stuff. And I just thought, how could it be so beautiful and so terrible at the same time? Because it was such a corrupted society.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, both the Greeks and the Trojans were, very wealthy at the time. And there was a little conflict about, the Trojans were going to charge for ships to go up and down the Bosphorus. And the Greeks are like, no, you're not. Kind of like what's going on now.
I was just going to say, amazing how that repeats itself.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of those guys were Spartan. I was the king of Crete at the time, and on the return, the Iliad and the Odyssey basically, talks about all that era. And I remember returning. We were on the battlefield, and I remember we fought for like 2 days straight in the sun. So the Earth stood still. And it was one of those, Planet X type things where it came close and it captured and it held the Earth on the other. So I was like, what is that? And they were talking about rivers leaving their banks, all kind of crazy stuff. So I was like, what? Because I had their memory of fighting like that. And they kind of talk about that in the Iliad. So I'm like, what was that? So I started doing the research again, and I found out that on the other side, the Mayans had 2 days of darkness. So during the same time frame.
Wow.
So, you start to find all these different things out throughout history, and the long journey, why it took so long for everybody to get back home. It wasn't like 9 or 10 years, but 9 years back then is like a long time. But so I remember coming back, and all of the stars and stuff we used were different because the world had shifted. So it was hard for us to find our way back home.
Yeah, that's cool. It's really cool. I wonder, I know that we've probably had more than one ice dome. Probably 3 is what I'm getting right now.
Wow.
But we've had all this local stuff, like local stars, that have been put up there for us, local sun, local moon. The moon is the funniest thing, I think, because it's definitely not what we think it is or what we've been told it is. But right. It's just such an interesting thing, and it's all shown to everyone in the movies. Like movie after movie shows you, like the Truman Show. We're watching Paradise right now, which is totally similar. The Simpsons movie, like there's just the Dome, that series.
Oh yeah.
So everything's been shown to us, but it's all been given to us in the idea that it's fake. And what they're doing is disclosing everything. So I think as people let go of the programming, that's going to shift everything a lot faster. But also people who will not let go probably won't be here by next April. I think we're actually going through that. That split is going to take NPCs as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I have a question, because we were getting back to the whole Earth thing and the moon, because we're always taught how much the moon impacts us from the standpoint of, our currents and the tides, and also women's menstrual cycles, and women tend to give birth more around the full moon, and people go crazy on the full moon. My uncle used to be a paramedic, and he said we would time it, full moons, people would go, more suicides, everything. So if the moon isn't really what we think it is, because I'd always heard it was like just almost like a empty, it was like almost like a spaceship or something. Yeah. So how every 30 days is something like that impacting us in that way?
It's every 28 days.
Or 28, yep.
Yeah. But so I got that the moon, once they hung the moon, right? Once they hung the moon, then what did they do? They moved all of the attention off of Earth, because those are Earth's cycles, not moon cycles.
Oh, okay.
So they took the attention that women were giving to the Earth and put it on the moon. So it was another division thing. And it kind of separated women from nature more.
Oh, so we had to go up instead of down and connect to the Earth.
That's
so it ungrounded us.
Yeah.
Because, I used to be a bouncer in a bar and bartender and so forth. Yeah. The full moon was like, and I could call it. I was like, yeah, this is going to be a good one, because I get energies, sure enough, I'm pounding people and they're trying to pound me. But, but it wouldn't affect women. That women wouldn't go crazy for the most part. It's just the men. The men during that cycle would just get really, really crazy. Why is that? Why are the men getting crazy? You would think it would affect women more because the menstrual cycles, like you guys are talking about, but men are the ones that really get just crazy.
I feel like it had to do with the pheromones from the women and the changes within the woman. Women.
Yep, and they couldn't get them, and then
they couldn't handle dealing with it.
Really,
That
really.
is
They
awesome.
couldn't handle dealing with it. Yeah, they couldn't have what they wanted, and so they're gonna like take it out on somebody else. So
Yeah.
and one of the worst that's a good point, because one of the worst ones that I had to deal with was this guy. Well, this woman came up to me and said, like, this guy like just was cussing at me. He's like trying to come on to me. I was like, okay, let me go talk to him. And so I went to talk to him, and I was like, yeah, so and so, and he's like, oh, he just started F-er and blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, it's time for you to call it a night. So I'm just gonna. We're almost at the end of the night, so the door's already locked. So I was just going to escort him out, pull the door shut, and that's going to be it. No, he wasn't going to have any of that. So he lit into me, and I lit into him, and he came back again, and it was like his blood was everywhere.
I was going to say, you're not someone that.
He was a badass boy. He was big. He's probably at one time running back for some football team, and I was a running back. So I know he came at me fast, just like a running back. I was like, whoop, whoop, whoop. And like he was down, he was out, and then it took a bunch of us to get him out, because he's like, once he woke up, he wanted to fight more, and it was crazy. But that it's just like you're saying, honey. Guys, I guess they can't get what they want, and so they just can't deal with it, and they go crazy.
So is that also because men have been taken away from the divine masculine as well? Mm-hmm. Like they haven't learned how to connect to their emotions? Because I think about, for women, we are raised to be in our emotions. Because of our menstrual cycle, we are given a time, whether we want it or not, to process our emotions, because they're just coming up, right? And so for men, I feel like that whole part of them can be very much disregarded. Big boys don't cry. You're not allowed to have your feelings. Yeah. And I'm watching the whole, process of seeing how the divine masculine is slowly being brought back in, and the divine feminine. And if you watch, what is that show? I was talking about this. I've fallen in love with this show, Love on the Spectrum. Have you seen that? Mm. Oh my God. It's autistic people being matched and how they go through. It's on Netflix. It's fantastic because there's no filter with them. And they're showing like these men are totally in their feelings, and they're totally like, I love you, you're beautiful, and are you okay? And like the constant that you watch them try to navigate their emotions and feelings without any filters. It's really beautiful if you get a chance to watch. I watched the fourth season with my daughter. She said that one was better than the earlier ones, but yeah. I think the coming in with the new, the fifth dimension is also allowing men to have their feelings, mm-hmm. and allowing them to really step into that divine masculine and living in their heart.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. So when I, hardcore Navy SEAL, and, started the first hand-to-hand program, crazy skills with, the military and that side. When I really started to go into the intuitive side, the spiritual intuitive side, I mean, because I'd kind of touched on it, as a kid all the way through. But when I really started to go into that, it just completely opened up the masculine side so much more. So it's, I always try to tell guys, you're missing out on tapping into that, incredibly beautiful side of yourself. But it's like you said, Lisa, and I always think of that song, "Big Boys Don't Cry."
Yes, I remember that. But it's the same with women, that the divine feminine, the feminine is always perceived as weak. I can't tell you how many women have said to me, I don't want to they carry their masculine because they don't want to tap into their feminine because they feel that the feminine is weak. And if you watch the movie Melania, and you watch the love story with John F. Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn Bessette Kennedy, you see these are two women who really know who they are.
Nice.
And so it's showing what a balance is instead of this distorted view of what the masculine and feminine is. And so I'm looking forward to see more of that, and I'm seeing more people stepping into that.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to, if we're going to ascend. And I agree with you, honey. If there's lots of different timelines, you can go on the dark path, and some people don't see it as a dark path. They wanted to experience, this transition as much as they could. Their souls are still need to be developed. So they're getting a little piece of it so that their next time around, they're going to probably ascend. And I've talked about this for well over a decade with people, and so forth. So it is something that is real. It's hard for people to fathom that there's going to be this split, but going into biblical times, I mean, they've talked about this split that's coming for a long time.
Yeah. And I have to commend you, Michael, from the standpoint of, having been a soldier, especially, in the super soldier realm, and also in, some of the most elite, where they really take that divine masculine out, right? They just warrior. It's direct warrior. And for you to hold that through everything that you've been says a lot about who you are and your character, and holding and talking about that love bubble and talking about that, because that's not, as that's not part of the culture of the military in any way.
Yeah.
No, that's big.
And one of the reasons why I believe I and my other people went into the super soldier program, because they look at our past lives. And those of us that can have multiple lifetimes at once, those are ones that really target for the program. Some of them, they just steal their consciousness and just slap it back in their bodies after 20 years. But some of us, I would say many, many millions of us, they pull into the secret space program and so forth, because we can multitask our physicality in this realm.
Multidimensional.
Yeah.
And we're jumping timelines so often now, and we're also getting pieces of ourselves that are coming in and joining. So, I always show this pine cone as the oversoul, but if you have 10 fractals or 20 fractals of yourself right now, we started out in 2020 with like 1/10. So a 10th of one fractal in the body. And we've moved to the point where now some people have maybe 50 fractals in their body. So they have all this knowledge that they haven't totally tapped into yet, because the brain hasn't been ready. But I think the brain is getting ready.
Yeah.
Right now.
I had a big fractal that was coming in, and honey was laughing. She's like, take your time. It's going to come in really slowly. And in my meditation, I was like, oh, I can handle this. I was like, come on in. I was laid out for 24 hours. I couldn't get out of bed. I thought I was dying. I literally, my body was like, what did you just do? So I learned you have to be patient with these fractals, because your frequency may not be ready and your body can't take it in. So if you start to feel off a little bit, it might be a fractal that's coming in. Allow it to come in. Be patient. And new skills are coming in, and new wisdom and knowledge are coming in with them.
Yeah, if like your soul is off doing stuff, like you wake up in the morning and you just feel like can barely get out of bed, and you're like, can you come back? Because you can't even power this existence without your soul at this point. Like, you're just dragging around.
Yeah.
Because you need that energy.
Yeah.
And Lisa, you work with Tracy on your descendants. What is that? Where you're like
the ancestrals.
Yeah,
clearing ancestral trauma.
Everyone that's alive in her family, when she started that, they all of them started having the experience of clearing, and it was tough for for a month. You know, she had real intense low back pain, all kind of crazy stuff.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
Yeah, because as you clear and you shift, they start to shift along with you. And it's also the way you see them too. You start to perceive them differently. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing and forgiveness is a huge part of it. But you're clearing out your generations. I've gone back over 10 generations or more, and you don't have to know who they are.
Mm-mm.
You're just helping them heal, because the soul still has that trauma, and the trauma gets passed down generationally. So when you clear that trauma, all of a sudden they're like, oh, they're starting to see the world differently. It's an amazing thing. And then when you do it, it also gets passed down to your descendants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Telepathy. So you guys discussed it on a show. You know, I've been talking about telepathy for probably a couple of decades at least. I remember when it really became clear to me, you know, when I was a kid, I used to do telepathy with some of my friends. They were like, that understood it. And we would send messages to each other and we would get it. And, you know, as kids, like 8, 10, 12 years old, I was doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So it is something that's, you know, we all have that capability of doing that. We just have to, allow it to a great extent. Tracy and I would be completely on the other side of the world. And I would get this thought, and then we do a phone call together. I was thinking this is like, I was thinking that same thing around that same time frame. So telepathy is real. And how would you, advise people how to tap into that more, or how to allow that?
You just said it, allow.
We're in the way of a lot of stuff. Yeah.
No, I was going to say, I literally two mornings ago, I was with my daughter and my granddaughter, and I was sitting with her and giving her morning feeding so my daughter could take a break. And I was thinking in my mind, should I leave tonight or should I leave tomorrow morning? And literally my daughter walked in and said, what's your plan? Are you leaving tonight or tomorrow? Like almost instantaneously.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Mm-hmm. I think colors and stuff are really easy because telepathy is, pictures mostly. Pictures and feelings, just like a dream.
Mm-hmm.
So think of a color and see if the other person can figure out what color you're thinking about.
Oh, yeah. That's a real good one. When I used to teach some of this stuff, I would have people think of like a bubble, and they would put thoughts in the bubble. It could be numbers or, some kind of object or thoughts. And I would say, just you have to meditate. You have to bring your consciousness down, and then really see if you're like trying to force it, it'll never happen. So you got to be in that right consciousness state, alpha brain waves and so forth, at least even deeper if you can get there and stay conscious. But, you leave it there and then walk out, and wow, it's impressive. How, and I would have like groups of like 30, 40 people doing it, and everybody's getting it. It's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're teaching children now. You can see them, they put blindfolds on them and they put the colors in front of them, and their brain state, like we're in beta, which is a fast rate like this. They're naturally in alpha and, and some of those lower frequencies and delta. So they can do it much easier. And they absorb information much easier because their brain frequencies are like this. So the earlier you start them with it, the more it becomes, a part of them. So I'm really excited for this next generation. I was just at an event on Sunday and ran into an old friend I used to study with. We did a shamanic apprenticeship together, and she does stuff with children, where she's like, let's make up a story and let's go up to the clouds and who do you see? And just helping them tap into, into manifestation and what they see. It's really fascinating. And we need to tap into their world because they're going to be seeing a lot of stuff. Yes, theta. Thank you. That was the other word. It was like theta, delta, and alpha. Someone just posted that.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
So we're moving into this quantum reality, this 5-dimensional, consciousness realm. breaking free from the the darkness of the old world, the control, all the untruths and lies and so forth, and dark entities that are trying to control us or hamper us in different ways. So you guys do the quantum meditation. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we go into the Akash and we deal with all the contracts. So that's really important. Lisa gets everybody really grounded. And we start the forgiveness process with Lisa. And I think this next time we're going to bring in a little bit more of nature and ask for the power of nature to come in, because the body is part of nature. So if somebody's having a body issue, we're going to work with that too. So I don't know exactly what that's going to look like. So when that happens, I'm just channeling my soul's information in. So that should be really fun and brand new. So it kind of reminds me of Star Trek when they were quantum jumping with the mycelium. I think we're going to be doing some of that next time.
Yeah, and as spring is happening, go out and be with the nature, go out and ground. I've meditated where I've sat at the roots of a tree and put my back to the tree and had conversations with them. And they really, they will help you. They will pull stuff out of you. They want to help. Mm-hmm. They not only do they recycle the carbon dioxide into oxygen, they also will recycle negativity and help us with our thoughts. And it goes through into the ground to the mycelium all around the world. So it's really amazing. It's amazing to get out in nature.
Yeah.
Very nice. So the links are in the description box.
Yeah.
Let me pull that up real quick.
Yeah, it's this Thursday. We have a 12 o'clock and a 4 o'clock Eastern. You can come to one or come to both. Bring your pets. They enjoy the healings as well, especially the dogs. Love dogs and cats, but any pet that you have, you just leave the door open so that they can leave in case it gets a bit too much. But we've had some really amazing feedback of it's $44. I can't even begin to tell you the miracles that happen in this group and the value that they get, and also Honey answers a lot of questions that people have. She's really amazing. It's a lot. And we have this other woman, Liz Perkins, who's also got her master's in botany, and she does some amazing healing work as well, and she's part of our group. She's amazing.
Mm-hmm. She is. Yeah.
Excellent. And I use Michael Jaco and get a discount, so that's there for everybody as well. But yeah, what a great meditation. I love those meditations, and you have a really good group of people that come in and do that. So that's really nice. So Lisa, this is your website. Let's see if we can bring it back on.
Oh yeah, Lisa, it's lisamindset.com if you want to go there. And also I'm building my YouTube. I just got past 1,000 views. So anyone who wants to go,
yay,
Lisa Sherman on my YouTube, I appreciate it. But yeah, that's my website, and I'm in the process of updating it, but you can book appointments. I still see people individually. That's my book, And Every Belief is a Lie. And I have another book coming out, We Are Quantum, that should be out in the next month or two. Oh, nice. And I'm part of, in 2 weeks in New York, I'm part of a group called the awakeningsummit.org. And it is a powerhouse of people who are there. We've got... let me give you the list. Stu's News, he's actually coming over from the UK. Derek Johnson, Dr. Jan Halper-Hayes,
wow.
Patrick Gunnels, Carrie Cassidy, Joe Rosati, and Scott Stone from the Truth Stream, Brad Olson, who I haven't met in person yet, so I'm really excited to meet him, okay. Laura Worley, Matt Geiger, and they just added, do you know Chris O'Connor? I think he was also a super soldier. Lewis Herms, Lee Dundas. Dave from News Treason, Joe Rambo. It's quite a and Mark Abrams. So I'm excited. It's in Linden, New York, on Long Island, and it's a 2-day event, and it should be amazing. If you go on the awakeningsummit.org, I'd love to see you. I'm one of the speakers on Sunday, I think. Yeah, Sunday afternoon.
That's going to be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. And honeycgolden.com.
Mm-hmm.
That's in the description box too, where you can link into this. And of course, Honey's book. Go over here to, was it Stolen History? Yep.
Yeah.
Stolen History. Scroll down a little bit, and there's Honey's book. And like I said, it's a quick read, but so deeply insightful. I mean, you're like, oh, this is so good. Right.
Yeah, I forgot to mention it's the 25th and the 26th, so it's not this weekend, the next weekend. People are like, when is it? I forgot the dates. April 25th and 26th.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
So
all right, ladies. Any final words?
No, I would say it's time to start having some fun, like just in general. So if you can do it, definitely do.
Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah. And we look forward to seeing you guys on Thursday. And also we have a library. So if you can't make it on those times, you can go into the library. They're just as powerful if they're recorded. Mm-hmm. And you can do them multiple times. So you don't have to just do it that one time. You get a lot of benefit out of those healings.
Yeah, you really do. And I've done lots of meditations, and that's one of the energy of that meditation is fantastic. So yeah. Once you do that, it just opens you up more for the quantum realm. So if you're kind of a newbie to this, it's going to be good for you. And if you've been around doing this for a long time, it's just as good, if not even better. So fantastic work, ladies. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, love doing this.
We should do more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Have a great day, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right.